OG Geek Bar merch. Hi everyone. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. You were just hearing the before show that we've been doing. We are doing hangouts, a little catch-ups before. Can I just say something funny that happened? First of all, Phantom Aria, thank you for using your Prime to sub. Appreciate it. Fiddles in the house. Thank you for 3 months. Vaden 44 in a row saying, glad you had a great time at softball. I was telling everyone about that before the show. If you have questions, tough titties, I guess. Terry, thank you for 37 months in a row, 45 total. We were just hearing about how work's been going for you and whether we can sleep in anymore or not. Colleen, thank you for 38 months. Colleen currently matches her hair to her the curtains behind you. Aesthetically, you are working it. In fact, I might need to lift up my game. Catch. So before the show went live, I went, Cat! Because I realized he gave me a whopping donation, but the message attached was don't panic. So I saw the amount. I went, Cat! And then I realized I couldn't panic. So I had to stop. And so it was just this noise. Catch, thank you so much for that. That's absolutely wonderful. I do appreciate you for that so much. You're also still at the #1 spot as well, so you are just holding strong. Now, also, my favorite part about this whole thing, Catch gave up this book 100 pages in. It was like, I tried it, not for me. I'm not really a fan of this whole immersive fantasy storytelling where we hit the ground running, sans information. So it was like, no, I'm good. Still here. Still a crucial part of book club. Still shows up every single time. In fact, if you're in the Discord, Catch, you've been kind of doing during day chills and hangs just to kind of pass the work day, yeah?
Yeah, just a little bit of Catch radio hour, playing music and hanging.
What kind of, do you tailor music to people's tastes?
Absolutely not. I just put on my Winamp playlist and hit shuffle.
And
it's
people have
7,000 songs long.
It's 494 hours of music. There's plenty for everybody.
Catch 22, no repeats. For Catch Radio, no repeats. City, you've been hanging out in that chat, yeah?
Yeah, it's all 90s rock music.
And what's your type of music?
Oh God, random, anything from Two Steps from Hell to anything from the early 2000s. Back when I was a sad teenager.
Hey, I wasn't sad. I was happy to be there, but the music was like, this is what emotional singing is all about. You're going to tell me about your father at the Black Parade? Oh, okay, let me get into it.
Was it yesterday, City, that I introduced you to Stabbing Westward?
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
So join the Discord is basically what I'm trying to say. Lisa, we have a new crafting channel in there, and you've been doing some crocheting and crafting in the Hangout channel?
Yeah, I needed some motivation, so I made people come sit with me.
I love that. Accountability. We could also do reading cozy hangs as well if everyone grabs a book and reads a chapter. That's cute. Seb, 46 months in a row, you said, look, same. I gave up after a third of the way through the book, lol. But I listened to the last 2 chapters. Are they the infamous 2 chapters that everyone's been talking about with the Sanderlanche? You just skip straight to the good bits. There's no wrong way, but that's probably the closest to wrong that I've heard so far. Seb, you spaced out. You're not doing the show. Oh, because I guess it's all spoiler chat. You did a testing and there's a massive emoji. Tell me about that. Tell me about how you did that. You're testing, is this a new Twitch feature?
Yeah, you basically add bits. Like when you do you use your what's called your bits, you can modify.
That's a big my face. That is my face, very big. This is me, big. Great. Bianchi says the last 2 chapters is probably missing a lot of the Sanderlanche. Lol. All right, Seb, you got to listen to the last 4 chapters at least. KBW, thanks for the bits. Catch, thank you again for that amazing, wonderful donation. All donations and Patreon goes back into Maude's Book Club to keep this well-oiled machine running. It's not just me, it does take a team. So thank you so much for helping make that happen. If you do want to join in on Patreon, fucking do it. It's so cool. $5 gets you unlocked channels, gets you double entries for the giveaways. And can I just say that hopefully not like one of the last people I spoke to in the publishing PR industry who has left me on red for 6 weeks. But I mean, I'll say it. I won't say who, but like, I'll say it. There is a mish trying to get, hi, me again. Yeah. But we've had a couple of things come through where we're looking at a lot more giveaways. So excited to be gifting books to the community. $5 gets you double entries in those giveaways. $15 gets you pre-hangouts and in the chat where I can see people waving back maybe. 1 did it, 2's done it. I got a shaka in there. I got what was that, Vaden? This is your queen wave. It was a little bit of a queen.
I'm waving in spirit.
Yeah, you're look at that. Darian's like, I will literally show my video back while I'm eating. What is that? Wings? What are you eating? Are that wings? You have demolished those wings. You have picked bones clean. I have not had dinner yet. I just had a very late lunch.
And a wing.
It was a breast and a wing. What's the sauce?
Spicy.
Look at that. Unmutes mid-bite to give me a wave. And that's the commitment that we're loving around here. Katie, lovely to have you here. Robin, lovely to have you here. Everyone else has read up to part 3. We're happy to dive into part 3 for The Way of Kings.
No, you had to cancel the stream.
Oh
62.
no, do I?
Oh no.
Oh no, I'll go straight to bed. I was just complaining to everyone. I woke up bone tired, 8 hours of full sleep. I went to bed at 11 p.m. listening to a new Blake Crouch book. Guys, Upgrade's pretty great. Fell asleep, woke up as if I have been awake for a full week. Cannot describe it. I just described it. Cannot tell you why. The body is amazing.
Has it happened to you before?
No, but I have a feeling it might start happening each month. You know what I'm saying? Yay, being a woman. Fun. Sometimes it would be like I just felt hungover and I hadn't drunk. And I was like, oh, this is new. I hate it. Finding different reasons to suck to be a woman. It's great. Anyway, majority of the audience are men. I'm going to tell you all about it. Happens to all us women. Nearly. You know. Cheyenne said, I'm not reading Way of Kings, but I will most likely finish Under the Whispering Door tonight. You want to give me a quick, what do you give it out of 5?
Honestly, it's just really cozy, and I've been enjoying it a lot, so it's probably just going to be a 5. It's having a good time.
Love that. I want to throw the book.
Oh,
I want to yeet that book. Chapter 4. I want to yeet it.
Okay, that's appropriate. Yeah, I can see.
I want to yeet
it gets
that
better
book
though. If you stick it out,
room.
I think it gets better.
I think I'm going to read it instead of listen to it as well because I mean it's voiced as if it's Wallace, and I want to wrangle it. You know?
Yeah.
No, I don't like this. Who's listening to Under the Whispering Door? Who's listening to it? Vaden and Colleen, am I right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's meant to be that way though, so he'll change.
Oh, I was gonna listen to it, but now I don't want to.
I mean, you've liked narrators that I have not liked.
Yeah.
I am. Tay's saying I'm listening to Under the Whispering Door rather than reading it. Tay, what's your thought? Wallace sounds like he's voiced by Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I don't really watch that show, so I did not make that conclusion. Void's here saying, hi people, hope it's going well. Yeah, Colin says Wallace is kind of annoying. I want to smack the dude. I think I was on the Fable for it. Hey, join Fable. We've got Maude's Book Club and Maude's Bonus Book Clubs, and you can basically check in post-chapter to chat with everyone to see how it's going. And I think it was chapter 2 that I said, hey, what's the male term of a Karen? We are dealing with a male Karen. where he's literally like, "I'd like to speak to the manager," and she's like, "I'm a Grim
Donald.
Reaper." It's a Donald, yeah, yeah, that kind of checks out, huh? Tay says Wallace is painful at the start. Yeah, now it's a Wallace. He's being such a Wallace. Susie says Kevin or Darren. Darren, how would you like to respond to that? Do you think the male Karen is a Darren? It makes sense by the sounds of it. Absolutely not. I believe that has been instantly vetoed in this community. We will not have a. It does sound good though, Karen. Like Karen Darren, like real. No, he's shaking his head at me. This is absolutely a no-fly zone. That will not happen around here. I'm just so relieved that Karen wasn't originally Maude. You know, like Maude intrinsically an old person's name. How many people would Karen upset? Quite a few. There's quite a few Karens still out there, you know? Like there is a whole wave of Karens that are like, whoa, didn't sign up for this. My entire identity has been smeared. Oh my God.
Well, that's part of it, isn't it? Because Karen's a more common name, like nominee mods. So
Karen
Not
is very
anymore.
Gen X. It's more of like a Gen X name, you know, and because like the quintessential Karen haircut is very Gen X. And so I think Maude is older than a baby boomer. What's that called? They're already all dead. They're born
Greatest
in like
generation.
they're born in like 1897. You know, they lasted through the Great Depression.
It was that's what they call
Maude.
themselves, greatest generation,
Mm.
because they
Maude
fought World
does.
War II.
Maude definitely gives a great type of depression for sure. So I just think, you know, I thank myself every day. Well done. You could have been a Karen. I have a friend called Alexa. I'm like, man, that sucks, doesn't it? She came over to my house. First thing she did, she changed it to Echo. Now I have to call it Echo. Can't call it Alexa anymore. Hey Frida says, Maude is a great name. Just me? I will not hear a good word about my name. I refuse to. Older names are so much cooler though. Could have been a Gretchen. No shade to all shade to Gretchen. I went to school with a Gretchen. She was lovely. She was our vice school captain. Maud's one above a Gretchen, which is one above a Gertrude. Like, oh, I saw a wince. Gertrude's pretty bad. Gertrude sounds like it's been pickled in a jar for a few years, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. Hey, Way of the Kings. No, the Way of Kings. The Way of Kings. Let's do a weigh-in. Ha! The puns just come. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Thank you. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. We're up to Part 3. I feel like there is momentum happening. Dalinar's taken a seat in Part 3. This is Shallan. This is Kalinar.
Kaladin?
Kaladin. I said it and I knew I was wrong. And I looked at everyone and I saw Lisa go, I saw Vaden go, that ain't it. How about I pull my notes up? Vaden, was that you giving me the plot rundown for Part 3?
Yeah, it's all there.
So good. I went to do it. I sat down. I just walked Zelda. She didn't do a poop. I was like, oh, this is going to be such a tough night. And then Part 3, completely out there. So where's my...
Did you just copy pasted from the wiki, Vaden?
Yep.
I knew it.
I mean, I posted it.
I was going to give you a cheers.
It's the same as part 2. The part 1 and 2 are for the same as Wikipedia.
Well, I also have, I mean, I'm going to be a bit cheeky. I have subscribed to Super Summary, and they have not only the summary for me, but they also have discussion points on it. And trust me when I say I didn't piece some of these things together until I read their discussions. There's words like juxtaposition in there. So I'm probably just going to read that, not as if it's my own, but I definitely want to share my notes with the class for sure. Part 3 starts with this is dying. It's dying. Oh no, I just got spam. Does everyone want me to read my spam email? Oh, here we go.
Is it fun?
It's called Deserve Help is the title of the email. Deserve Help. From Muhammad Al-Wadiya. I hope this is fake. If it's not, I feel like such an asshole. What if it's not? Now I can't. I'll...
Well, just read yourself first.
It could be a Nigerian prince, Maude.
That's what I thought. They've attached a GoFundMe and an Instagram reel.
It's better than hot singles want to meet.
Oh, actually, it's so distasteful. There's a reel which is like, help, our family needs all help. But it's like done in a supercut edit where the pictures spin around and it's like, poverty, woo, we need help.
Oh, no.
Just so you know, you probably shouldn't touch those things.
Don't
Because
click
they could be
on
malware.
Yeah, that's a very bad idea.
Yeah,
Quickly run all of your
It looked like a
sites.
legit link, though. It looks like a link.
All of your antivirus now.
They all look like legit.
I'm just curious. I was curious. I don't know. I actually don't know. This could be real. Yeah, Seb, straight away, all capitals. Never click spam links. Everyone's like, Maude, the disappointment. Do we need to summon Adam? No, I've been yelled at enough today. Oh,
wow, these
look
are
at my
shit.
bio. I don't know. Oh, my conscience is curdling. Adam's name has been spoken. Do the mods need to mod emails now? Listen, that's going to be a full-time job. What is that? Is that a link?
It was a spam text I got saying there was a UPS delivery for me. But UPS doesn't work in Trinidad.
Yeah,
There's
right.
no UPS in Trinidad, and it's a Nigerian number.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have clicked that. I've got some things down. This one, I'm very confused.
You don't know who.
Why would you click any of
them?
It was an Instagram reel. It was.
Oh.
But it really was.
No, but Maude, they can also just take you to a website that's literally copied all the styling from Instagram's website.
Yeah.
That's how deep scams go now.
But it started Instagram.com.
You also have to highlight the link to see if it's actually from Instagram or not. But there's a lot to it. But yeah,
check if they did a trick to make it seem like it said Instagram, but it was really like Instamam or something. Or
yeah.
Yeah, because you can make a link say the word here, and that's it.
So I drag my mouse over it and what?
Hover over it, and it'll open the actual URL. If you just hover over
the link, it can sometimes show a different link to what it's displaying as. But I don't know.
I'm not gonna do it.
No, don't mess with it. Just leave it. Just delete it. Just get rid of it. It's bad.
Okay. What if it's not though?
Okay, delete it.
I deleted it. I deleted it.
Now go change all your passwords.
Am I going to be the grandma that got scammed?
Yes.
Like, is that my path? Is that my destination?
If it weren't for your book club, you were this close.
So you have to understand, because I have a public Instagram profile and my email's linked to it, people can reach out. And it's like, I have had people say, God, I had a woman who's like, I saw you did something for Doctor Who. My sister's prom something. Can you please contact, because I would like to try and get someone from the show to take my sister to prom. And I'm like, in what world do you think that is? So people do kind of approach me to ask for things or to help or to like share a GoFundMe link because their pet's needing surgery. So like I do get approached, and that's why it's like, am I supposed to use my platform for good, or am I just supposed to be like, nah, yeet, delete? It's like, that's where it's very compromising. Oh God. I will say, I don't like talking about it, but I keep every now and then just some $5 in my center console in the car, so that at the lights, if someone's like, I'm so hungry, I need food, I will give them that. And I did that yesterday, and a grown man cried. So, you know, we've got to do our little things. Colleen, you can't save them all, but I can start and try a little bit, you know. Yeah, see, right? I think we're so nervous about how it can bounce back and hurt us. Like, is it spam? Is it trying to hurt? That it's like stopping us from actually helping? Oh God, I don't know. Carlos says, "Don't let your goodness die out."
Sorry for being a cynic, Maude.
I just want to make a difference and help sometimes. Skull says that's more of a direct help that is obviously making a good impact. Plus, it's $5, not your entire identity. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You know, and the amount of people that are like, well, they're just going to spend it on drugs. I'm like, well, that's one more day that it might be just a little bit easier for them, you know, to ignore the tough time of their life. Like,
it just reminds me of the comedian Greg Giraldo. He's talking about giving a homeless man money, and he's like, he's just going to spend it on drugs or alcohol. And he's like, that's what I'm going to spend it on.
I've heard that bit before. But yeah, Vaden, I learned that lesson. Okay.
No, well, when I was in Montreal, I once asked a homeless guy that was begging next to a McDonald's if he wanted anything to eat. And said, no, I'd rather have the money.
Yeah, okay.
I'm buying you something to eat, but I'm not giving you money.
Yeah.
So
I've done that before. I've just bought like a big thing of water. It was a super hot day, and I was like, oh, it's going to be really, really tough for people out there that, you know, can't get away from the heat. And so I dropped off like big bits of water, and I, you know, that was met with a okay. And I'm like, all right, if you don't want to drink it, that's totally fine, but it's there, or if someone else needs it, you can pass it on.
Yeah. A lot of times we buy like a fast food meal for people, like when they're like on the corner begging and stuff. So
yeah, there you go. We're all doing something. Chris is trying to bring us back in the comments with one of the best segues, saying, Sphere, I'm begging for Sphere. Give me Stormlight. There you go. Yeah, we are talking about the Way of Kings. Colleen says there are people who are homeless because of medical bills or bad divorces. It went up so much with the pandemic because rent skyrocketed, especially in this city. Hold on. I think I'm about to, which is weird because I was charging it earlier, but I heard a doo-doo-doo, so there you go. Double checking you guys, this is still on? Can someone say something?
Hello.
Nice.
Blah,
yep,
blah, blah.
it still works.
Yes.
Great. Bartleby Prime says dunking your friends in a tank of water for charity seems like a potential phishing scam. Very good. Shout out Alienware. Thank you, Carlos. Exactly. Love Alienware. I'm getting a new keyboard soon. Ooh. Alrighty. There we go. I got distracted completely. Let's talk about what happens in part 3. Kaladin manages to rally the other men in his group and turns them into a team that can survive. So speaking of Kaladin and Maude would have a beer over this for sure. I want to try and help people. But sometimes I'm worried that if everyone around me is just destined to die. So mine's not that bleak and extreme, but Kaladin's like, I just want to help people. I'm like busting my ass trying to make a difference, to try and make it so that we're just not arrow fodder and targets. And he's really struggling with sort of existential depression here. He's wondering that if any of it matters, because the system that's in place, they are on the lowest rung here. And no one cares if they live or die. And that is really tough for him. Kate says, hello, Kate. Lovely to have you here. How are you? On a Friday? I don't think we've ever done book club on a Friday. How are you, love?
Good. I got a new kitten.
Shut up. Can we please have photos in the show
I can
chat?
put them in the chat.
What kind of kitten?
Just like a, one from the SPCA.
But what color?
It's gray with white feet and a white bib.
Okay.
Are you saying your cat has socks?
That's what it sounds like.
What are you naming it?
His name is Mr. Bingley because our other cat is Mr. Darcy.
Oh, that's Are they getting along?
They love each other.
I'm not. This is not backed by science at all. But if you do have sad moments that recur often, get a pet. Because a lot of the time it's like self-loathing can come out. I don't deserve to care for me. That does not exist when it's a pet. You're like, I won't care for me, but I will love this thing. And let me tell you, I'm walking 10,000 steps a day because I've got a dog. I am doing that for her, but it helps me. So there you go. Maude will cry from fuzzy, lovey kitten if you want. Mate, I'm a dog person. This cat won't break me. Watch. Show me a kitten.
Caledon needs a pet.
Yeah, and that's what Syl is.
Yeah,
Syl
she
is...
sasses the bejesus out of him.
Syl sasses me all the day. Where are you, dog? Look at this. Zelda, get on your bed. I love you. Can you get on your bed? Come on. I have to. This is the only way. Come on. What's this? Are you depressed? Are you depressed right now? I have a treat in my hand. It's not moving.
How dare she?
So, what's this? You want it? On your bed. On your bed. That's good. And that is how you cure depression. No, I'm kidding. Susie says, "Hey Maude, where's your puppy?" Yeah, fair. She's there now. So that's kind of like a role that I think Syl plays. Syl is actually acting as Caledon's beacon of hope, or a way to kind of remotivate, get him out of those dark storms, metaphorically, get him out of those cloudy moments. Carlos says we must protect Syl at all costs. Everyone's talking about pets that are out there. Colleen has tarantulas and snakes. What are you doing?
Somehow that doesn't
not anymore. My sister made me get rid of my.
How dare she?
I had to choose between her and the snake.
You chose the snake, right?
I don't know why, Colleen,
eater.
but you having pet tarantulas and snakes feels so on point.
It does. It feels really on brand for you, Colleen. I just like a cat was unavailable that day. I mean, if that's what you moved to Australia.
Demanding. My boys were super demanding, so it was nice having pets that were real low key.
How are they low? I'm getting distracted. Kate, thank you for 35 months. You know what? My friend has a tarantula, called Prince Harry, and I don't. She was like, "Do you want to pat it?" And I'm like, "No, nope. I do not need to provide an arm for it to crawl on. I'm so good." Anyway, so back to Caledon. He's cheerleading. He's rallying his men. He's giving them hope. And then he has an existential crisis that should he be giving them hope? And Colleen even said that. Is giving someone hope and happiness for even a day, is it a good thing and is it worth it? What do we all think?
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is. Even
the
if
fact
it
that
doesn't help at the end, still.
I just think that the fact that they weren't even like, they were just so busy trying to escape and not think about what they had to do and not train and not do all these things. But the fact that they started finding community and camaraderie and how much that changed, wanting to be alive, wanting to be there, wanting to participate, having hope. What are some of my questions that I had for here? Oh, I just wrote down beats of what was happening. I swear I had like questions. No, cool. Pass Maude, you suck. What do you think the turning point is for these men as well?
Turning point is in like what?
Didn't want to exist, didn't care if they lived or died, didn't care about anyone else either. Like if someone was injured, leave them behind. Money is only good for sort of booze and babes.
I feel like it's part of it. I think that's when it happens, when they become a slave, essentially, because everyone around them is like that too. It's like a whole community of people are all depressed and basically know that they're not going to survive long, so they just kind of do whatever they want, be hedonistic with time. Exactly. Yeah. So they don't care, and Galvin got them to care, which was his skill. But I think that community forces it on people, and it's very hard to resist that.
I actually think you're right. Like when you have a team of people that are not a team, they're just individuals that are confined together, that don't care about anyone else, that don't have that sense of, camaraderie or, wanting to support, uplift, carry the weight of someone else, knowing that it will be returned. That's, I think, what depression is, that sense of like isolation when you're around people, like the sense of like not caring about anyone else, but also not caring about yourself. Like, but in saying that, like, let's all be grateful that we're not, put in this position where someone goes, no, the arrows are supposed to hit you. Like, that's what you're there for. They're supposed to get you. And if it doesn't, hey, and let me sell you an empty promise. If you make 100 bridge runs, in fact, if you make 24 bridge runs, we'll promote you and you'll get paid more. Yeah, on average, people survive 3.
Yeah, they're giving a lot of false hope, and we've seen like in other books, like also Cerulean Sea, like your environment is super important. If you're in a terrible environment, you're going to feel terrible. Mm-hmm. So changing the environment is the most important thing.
And that change of environment is definitely a change in mindset and perspective too. Did you want to jump in, Colleen?
Yeah, I think that it has something to do with quality of life, even if you don't have quantity.
Yeah. If your days are finite, how are you going to spend them? Are you going to just get comfortable in the circle of the drain, just knowing that it's not an if, it's a when, and so you just kind of let the current take you down the drain? Or do you jump in a little paddle boat and start enjoying the scenery? Oh, it's a terrible analogy, Maude. Not your best. Kate said, and they're just so beat down already by their light eyes being superior society that they immediately feel lesser than someone else in society. Kaladin had that huge trust in light eyes before, as we see in the flashbacks. Like, that they believe that light eyes are so good and smart and better, which makes their inevitable betrayal feel so much worse. Oh, we all saw it coming, but it was shitty to witness, right? Aslan's in the house, so is Occult. Still lovely to have you here, guys. I think as a bridgeman, the quality of life is so low, I'd have taken a quick trip to the Honor Chasm. I mean, that's what Kaladin actually does try to do. He sees how pointless all this exertion is, just knowing that he's destined to kind of die. It's like, is there an empowerment to do it on your own terms? And it wasn't until Syl is kind of like, hey, we're just starting this. Like, you're seeing the end, and that is your focus. But we are still here. And the fact that you are here means that there is a chance to do something with the day that you're given. And I think that that was a really pivotal moment for him. But I kind of like the fact that this isn't just an epiphany and he's changed. He keeps going back and forth on his stance. He's really 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. He tried a new thing with the bridge. Hey, we can't shield ourselves. This bridge is a shield. Let's maneuver it in a different way to stop the arrows from hitting us, but to hit the bridge instead. And what we see is a trickle-down effect. He was so short-term solution focused of not dying and trying something else that he didn't see the trickle-down implication of that, which was the fact that the Parshmen went, cool, we can't hit them. Focus your attacks on everyone else. And other bridges just collapsed. And there was catastrophic loss because of that one adjustment, which makes you realize they are doing everything for a reason. But that reason is that you don't matter. It's still not a fun reason. Academics in the house. Hello, academic. Hope you've been well. Are you up to part 3? Have you read it? He's like, don't address me. Do not address me. You have? You got a haircut.
Yeah, I went to a wedding, so I had to get it done.
Sorry, Darren. I hope you still feel special. So I was just telling everyone in the pre-show. My superpower is that I can tell when a guy's had a haircut. And if I've not noticed, I am sorry. There needs to be balances with this. It has to balance out of it eventually. And Basil, I don't think we're gonna stumble upon that soon with your hair. Keep it long, keep it strong. You had a haircut? Oh no, he had a haircut recently.
It was beginning of April, but in your defense, I usually keep it up in a ponytail, so you would never know.
I actually had the opposite. I was like, hey Baz, you grew your hair exponentially. Cool. It just shot out of your skull. Oh, that's rad, man. Seb, don't you dare. Seb said, by the way, I had a haircut today. Seb, you did too, Darian? Today?
Sunday.
No. I should have known. You know what? Do you get it very regularly? Maybe it's just been too long between, and it actually looks like the last time you had a haircut, therefore was not enough of a Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. Susie says, I would like to apologize to Darren and his brother because I keep seeing Karen stuff on YouTube. We were talking about what is a male Karen, and Susie said Darren, which you'd think would make sense. Darren immediately vetoed it, so Susie said, right, Kevin and Karen. Darren goes, that's my brother's name. So we are 0 for 2 with finding this. Robin says, I got a haircut as well, but I refuse to go on camera. Does your hair look pretty though?
Yeah, it's more purple now.
We pay so much money that it better look damn good. You know what I'm saying? Gosh, it's expensive to me. Guys how much do you think it costs for me to get partial highlights and a trim? Send me a number, guys. Send me a number.
I know that
100?
Paid $60 for just a regular haircut, so.
Who said 100?
100.
Oh, that's so sweet. Keep going.
And more?
You are getting your hair done in Los Angeles. So...
Oh, right. LA, 250?
With highlights, so I'd say somewhere like 300.
3 to 4. It's got to be up there in a ridiculous range.
300 to 400, 350 to 450, not including a 20% tip.
What?
That's great.
My sister didn't get what's next. That's my sister. Are you going to like some fancy places or something?
I went to a friend and I had the most uncomfortable.
A friend did that to you? That's wild.
And then I was like, oh, that's a lot. And she goes, I'll knock off $20.
$20?
Now I can get that kidney operation.
So be curious to be a hairstylist. Then that's the moral of this story.
You're right. I'm in the wrong business. Clearly.
I mean, also, what is a job that AI can't do? I think that's it. Maybe I'll just put everything in.
Just give me time. I'll figure it out.
That's hilarious because I get haircut, scalp massage for $50.
My mom still cut my hair.
I'm a dude though.
Oh, love that.
My aunt is a hairdresser, so I never paid for a haircut in my life.
Okay, all right. Wow, there you go.
I'll just rub salt in Maude's wound.
I mean, if we're still flexing on you,
salon, it was $50.
200 is pretty good, Colleen, including the tip. That's good. Yeah. Okay, it's so funny watching everyone's. Yours was 360 for a cut and full hair. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're also an on-camera personality, so you it's part of your job to spend more on like a really good haircut.
The tax write-off
I was wondering.
But like, maybe I don't eat twice this week.
Do you have to do your own hair and makeup, or do they have someone to sign for?
Great question. We are going on so many tangents. Kaladin, my dude, I bet your hair looks good and you don't have to pay. Okay, so at a junket, they will provide what's called grooming, which is like 2 sort of makeup setups. you're in that chair for 10 minutes. They will literally put a little bit of lip gloss on and they'll spray a fly away and that's it. There are some people who have tried to like show up no makeup and they're like, here, that's like a 45 to an hour minute job sometimes. So they just like, you can't do that because it's just mainly for touch-ups. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing on-camera stuff for so long. One of the jobs that I did, they literally paid a professional hair and makeup artist to show me how to do my own makeup and buy the makeup kit for me. And I did an entire show on the road where I had to do my own hair and makeup. Now, one of the days we were filming, there was a wind torrent and I can't see, and it was not great. 17 pounds, and I get mad because that's too much. That'll be right. Trichophagia is the compulsion to eat your own hair. Hey, that could be a win-win. I'll just eat my hair and solve that problem. You're right. Hey, thinking outside the box for that one, sure.
I feel like you're going to pay for that on the back end, quite literally.
Occult Soul cuts his own hair. Great. Toaster Poster says, this book has a nice slice of lifestyle and we spend a lot of time listening to the characters, just thinking and even overthinking. It'll be easier for me to read this book because I know why it's hard for me to connect with this book. What? Why? What's going on there? Oh, thank you, Seb. Very sweet. Darren, yes, it is. Yes, it is. You think I see any of that and notice it? Not at all. No. I love that we're all chatting about this though. What is it like to be Maude? Expensive. Very expensive. Okay, so Teft. What's Teft's deal? Teft knows about the Radiant, where are you? Radiant Knights lifestyle and motto. He kind of starts spieling about this whole journey before destination, and someone else goes, wait a minute, I've heard that before. Teft is also clued in on the Stormlight being absorbed by Kaladin. Okay, so hold on. Kaladin tries a new thing, costs a lot of people. He is sentenced to ride out a giant high storm. He is basically changed to a wall, I believe it was, and this storm, in his vision, takes the shape of a face before he's knocked out. No one's survived this before. He makes a promise to his men that he will survive through this. And everyone's like, oh, the delusion's hitting hard for him. Turns out it was Teft that gave him a sphere to kind of, as for luck. Now, a high storm is what charges Stormlight in a sphere. This thing was drained. Why you got the giggles, Terry? Why you got the giggles?
Because you said they will survive, and I eventually had the song in my head playing. So basically, just imagine him starting singing the song, "I Will Survive," to the group of people in front of him.
I'm glad I asked. So he lives through something that should have killed him. So he's kind of getting this messiah status with his men in a way. But Teft notices that the sphere has been drained. He also plateaus. Like, he's barely alive. He's like what someone would say mostly dead. So he's like not coming good again, but he ain't dying either. But he's like almost stuck in this mostly dead space. And so Teft delivers more spheres and notices he saw, as soon as he gave him the sphere, the Stormlight literally leaves the sphere and gets absorbed into his body, and he kind of like emits this aura of light. And Teft's like, God damn. I know what that is. I've seen that. Does this dude know what he is? And so he kind of plays a bit of a slow burn with him. He plays a long game. He keeps delivering these spheres, so knowing that Kaladin's going to absorb this Stormlight. Can't do it too fast, too much, because people will ask questions. So he's doing like a slow return for Kaladin to get back to life. Now, Kaladin is having sort of dreams. He had like a violent sort of almost a fit, which is very reminiscent of what happens to Dalinar. No? Piecing that together, mayhaps? And he's having sort of dreams. But he's recovering. And Teft is kind of like poking around here, going, hey, bud, what's your deal? What's your deal? Callan's like, how am I alive? And he's like, dude, I know, you should totes be dead. And he's like, I don't know why I'm alive. And he's like, are you sure about that, man, bro? You sure you don't know why you're alive right now? And he's like, no, by all means I should be dead. Tef's like, okay. Tef's not deft. Tef ain't deft. That's what's going on here. What do we think Tef's deal is? He knows about the Radiant Knight motto. He knows about Stormlight. He knows more than Kaladin does. Teft also asked Kaladin whether he has lightheadedness and stuff like that, which is denied. Tortilla Eater, by the way, thank you for subbing. Someone's got to eat those tortillas, am I right? What was that, Colleen? You want to eat the tortillas? Colleen's like, I'll eat them. I love that. Tef keeps asking Kaladin to stop prying into his backstory, says Academic. That's right. Everyone's sharing stories, and Kaladin kind of shuts down a lot, and Tef shuts down a lot. Academic says, I think we should be respectful of his wishes. Bartleby Prime says, I'm getting a Shepherd book from Firefly kind of vibes. Oh, I need a rewatch of that, don't I? I'm due for another rewatch. Lisa says RAFO.
Read and find out.
I'm not looking forward to seeing what happened to Tien, says Kate. I don't know if we're going to see it because we kind of got up to the point of the flashback. Did it kind of get skated over a little bit?
I don't think we're gonna see it in this book. I think it's gonna be something that we'll find out, like maybe not even in the next book. It'll be like because it's like the crux of Kaladin's character, right? That he failed his brother, and now we see that it's like he promised his dad that he would protect Tien after like the pettiness of sending like a 13-year-old to war from the Light Eyes shithead. Yeah. And it's just like, this is Kaladin's whole thing, is that he wants to save all these bridgemen because he couldn't save his brother. He wants to save everyone because he couldn't save his brother. Yeah. And so I don't know if we'll find that out for a really long time because it's such a huge part of Kaladin's character.
I'd go further to say, go
Baz.
I'd go further to say that I don't think we need to find out at all, because I think it's more effective being left up to our imagination.
Knowing the impact that it's had on him, and like it's interesting because this is very much a male trait, let's say, and that is burying trauma and emotions and suppressing it and not addressing it. So the fact that even the fact that it's in a third person and he's still not acknowledging it, like, I know what it is. I don't need to share it. I don't need to talk about it. But I want to right my wrong. All the guys are like, yeah, that's how we cope. But it's, this understanding that I know what it is, so I don't need to share it. But my actions will try to either course correct or dissuade my guilt.
We have tons of evidence in all of history that burying those feelings down and then them exploding out in irrationality by men, nothing bad has ever happened from that. Ever.
Totally.
On a separate note, I fired my therapist today. Anyway, talk about things for sure. And Carlos says savior complex is also a very male thing too. I'm responsible for this person's death, therefore I will overcompensate by trying to save so many other people to assuage me of my guilt. Lisa says, I kind of hate that I know things because I want to say things right now that I do not want to spoil. Carlos says, I should call her, parentheses, my therapist. You want to know how much that costs in LA? Kidding. Not really, but we're not going to talk. No, it's just depressing. Academic says, reading the friendly manual is mildly better. That's in response to something else. The RTFM? What's that?
It's a slang term in engineering and construction for read the F in manual.
Right. I don't do that.
But in
I'll
a
figure
book
it out.
club, it could be read the effing manuscript.
True. Says the guy who bailed page 100.
Yep.
Ooh.
I don't want to read this one. I gave it a fair shake. I'm not digging it. I'm out.
No,
You had
it's
my
because you
history
can't
instead.
read. The woman who was reading it to you decided not to read it
Yeah,
anymore.
she's like, I'm cutting you off.
At least
See,
Kat started it.
Again, that assumes there is a woman in my life willing to read to me.
Before the small violin starts playing, Colleen makes a really great point. Kaladin wanting to save people. One of his first introductions to being a surgeon was that he couldn't save a girl, like day one. And even his father is like, the more you do this, the more you realize you cannot save everyone. You know, we do our best. We do what we can. We do not like, you know, there was so many chances that we saw in some of Kaladin's flashbacks where it would be easier if this person just happened to not survive. It would take care of a few
We
things,
saw
you
it
know?
with the Light Eyes and his son with the hunting accident too, where the father triaged them and was like, we're going to focus on the dad because the son is not savable. So he has to deal with like that too, like looking at a battlefield and saying, it like, I can't help this person, they're about to die. I have to focus on this person who I can actually save.
And
That's pretty standard battlefield medicine.
But what were
You
the
know,
consequences of that? You took my son, I take your son. I get to choose who gets sent off to war. Tien.
Oh, I'm also going to marry your very young girlfriend. That guy was so cool. Gross.
Yeah. But like, this is.
More like a bitch.
Yeah, right. And it's like, dude, maybe don't kill a boar. Like, maybe take some ownership for your actions, huh? Maybe.
It would serve him right if like he sent Kaladin and Tien away, and then the dad just like, I don't know, drank himself to death, and then it's like, oh no, I need a surgeon. They're all gone, and then it's like, now the whole town dies.
I like that there was an evil cackle as you said that as well. So serves you right.
Yes, a whole bunch of people die for the crime of the Lord.
Yeah. I wish they just left for Carbranth, which is Surgeon Academy, Surgeon School. Yeah, Kaladin. It's so funny, Kate. Something that is going round and round in my head when I'm reading this book is Kaladin stop being Ned Stark for 2 seconds. And I feel like...
he really... We were saying that Dalinar is kind of like Ned Stark, but Kaladin also kind of is, because he just...
Honor.
Well, yeah, and it's like, look what happened to Ned Stark and look what happened to Kaladin. I mean, Kaladin's not dead, but like, because he didn't want to take the sword, where he's just like, I'll give it to someone who's like a better swords person. That guy was like,
honor states that I can give it. Yeah, that's it.
The guy
and he didn't even fathom that could happen.
Yeah, but the dude's like, but I want it, so I'll just kill everyone so there's no evidence that it wasn't me who took it. So it's just like, he should, because he was so kind of blinded by the honor of it all, even though he shouldn't have been, because he saw how that Light Eyes Lord like ruined his entire family.
He knew better, but he still trusted.
But Amaram's the honorable guy. And it's like, no, like he should have seen it, and he's just too honorable to see that kind of like, you know.
I will say though,
the machinations of a political game in like the kind of like high society.
Yeah, he hasn't been around it to the point where he expects it. His default is hope and good and the right thing, right? And he's just witnessing that ain't it at all. I have had this self-reflection a lot.
Oh, sorry, Maude. Carlos just said, do you think the Light Eyes Lord would have let Kaladin keep the sword? I don't think so. I think he was going to take it no matter what.
Yeah, because he's a dark-eyed, and it's like this intrinsic, well, I am greater, therefore I deserve.
It's the exact same thing as the bridge crew, where they're like, hey, if you survive 24 of these things, you can move up a rank. It's the same thing where it's like, if you're a Dark Eyes and you get a shard blade, you can move up and become a Light Eyes. It's like, that's never going to happen. How many other Light Eyes got their swords because they killed someone for it? Probably most of them.
Well,
think that if sorry, go ahead, Maude.
No, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but like talking about how Sigil was saying that in his culture, the oldest person gets to rule, and so what happens? The family that stays in power kills anyone who gets old enough to be able to take that claim. You look at and that's like the whole conversation that they're having. They are post-storm, all talking about what would you do? Would you be different if you had power, if you were able to rule? And some people were convinced, I think I could do a better job. And Kaladin's going, it's irrelevant. If you have that power, you will abuse it. You will not be the person that you think you are. So that's a really interesting conversation. But what are you going to say, academic?
I was just saying that I think that if Kaladin had taken the Shard Blade, like as soon as he killed the Shard Bearer, who I wonder who that is, that he would have. I don't think Amram would have taken it back from him because, like, he would have had the Shard Blade at that point.
He would have
Like,
Super
what was he gonna do?
That's
Yeah,
the only way
exactly.
I'm going to describe it. He would have Super Saiyaned. He would have become a Light Eyes, right?
Exactly.
Now, remember
I don't know if he becomes a Light Eyes like immediately, right?
I don't know. That's what I don't know. But
yeah, does he have to like attune to it or something, like in D&D?
you summon it 10 times. It kind of like I don't
But
know.
it takes like time to like. Is it instant or does it take time?
Do Light Eyes have a certain amount of time to be able to kill them for it? Yeah, this is what we don't know.
Well,
but oh yeah, you've had your hand up for a while. Sorry, Vaden.
Oh, just mention quickly. The question, makes sense to ask, but like in this case, particular case with Kaladin, it wouldn't have mattered what he chose. Even if he chose to keep it for himself, they would have murdered him anyways because he was so tired. He said from the fight that he couldn't even he can barely fight back as it is. So I think they would have found a way to murder him essentially in his weakened state. At least I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been able to. He wouldn't have found a way around it.
And he also wouldn't have expected them to do that, right? Like, so even if he had taken as like, ooh, I'm a shard bearer now.
Yeah, that's true.
They would have like killed him in his sleep or something as soon as he like went to bed.
Only thing that spared him was that he saved Amram's life, so that was like he had to like repair life debt. That's the only reason he's alive, because he saved Amram from dying from the shard bearer.
Yeah, but like still, what a shitty thing to do. It's like I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to make your life not worth living.
Yeah, it's like
You're
even
welcome.
worse.
Enjoy. I'm going to brand you permanently as a slave. This is going to be your life.
Death would have been like a mercy.
Amaranth, it's like, mate. Something that I do want to talk about is this feeling that Kaladin had when he had the shard blade. It was a feeling of wrongness.
Yeah, that's
he didn't want it because it was like, it was he ain't vibing with the shard blade. But there was something I feel like bigger than him that was like, nope, wrong. This is wrong. Is it the idea of taking it that made him sick? Was it his loathing of the Light Eyes that put a bad taste in his mouth? Or was it something bigger than him? Was it... Oh, academic, you put your video off.
So, I don't know for sure, but I mean, I feel like there's something wrong with those blades. Like something is either the way they're made or something else with them. But like the wrongness he feels.
I'm watching academic and I'm watching Lisa like a hawk. Keep talking.
I kind of agree, Vaden, where it's like I kind of picture them having a kind of aura, like because this is a blade it's like ancient and it's super magically powerful and everything. So I feel like it has almost like a dark, like siren song aura to it, where it's like you want to take it, but there's like, you can tell that there's something not right with it. And most people would ignore that because it's like, ooh, power. But if you really think about it, like your lizard brain is trying to tell you that something's not right.
Yeah, exactly. And
really quickly. Crowman87, first time chatter. What's up? Maude from Maude's Book Club here. We are just talking about part 3. Majority of us have not finished this book. We will be doing that next week. We'll be finishing the book next week. We are hypotheticalizing, not a word is now. We are
hypothesizing.
Theorizing. We are putting it out there. Carlos is like, wow, I love these questions, Maude. These questions know too much. But Croman's like, I'm assuming that these are hypothetical questions and that they don't want an actual answer.
Yeah, like I know that it's probably driving like Academic and Lisa like nuts because they want to just shout out all the things, but it's kind of fun not knowing and being able to theory craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the chat. Like, that's why I'm mad that I know these things, because I can't theorize with you guys. I already know what happens.
And I didn't read ahead. I can't spoil.
I'm on chapter 62 right now, so I'm slightly ahead. So
I finished on Tuesday.
Can we talk about Shallan for a second?
No, we're doing Kaladin, and then we're gonna do the whole next half an hour on Shallan.
Okay.
Because I want more than a second on Shallan for sure. I just want to wrap up Kaladin's bits here.
You want to wrap up Kaladin's bits?
Don't clip that. Don't clip that. He can
also,
wear undies.
Rock deserves the entire world.
Yes, Rock I will not fight. And it's like, dude, you're 7-1. Like, you are the tank of the group, but sure.
And he said it's like, it's beneath him. It's not even like a coward. It's like, this is something that, you know,
it's the
mongrels
fourth
and like
son,
low people do.
No, yeah, he said it was a fourth. So there's a hierarchical kind of thing. Firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, and I think second is carpentry, or it's like, you know.
For second, first and two are cooking, and then third is, I can't remember third actually. There's craftsman, and fourth is the fighters.
Yeah, and then fourth
like
is fight.
Fighting
because
is
in their
the lowest
culture,
of the low.
Yeah, it's like we don't need that many soldiers. We don't have that kind of war. We don't send off our men for something that is so pointless and trivial. And I'm like, yeah. What's the Lopen?
Lopen is the one-armed guy in the...
That's his name.
Hey, Gancha.
Yeah.
I will say, Michael Kramer does an incredible job bringing him to life. He does a... Well done. I give you so much shit, Michael Kramer, but I will give credit where credit due, and you do a very, very good job with him. He's fun. Yeah, and he does a good job with Rock as well. Oh, you're so funny, Esik Lolander. You don't know. Rock has a Native American accent insofar as the other characters has an Aussie accent. Yeah, he is. He's totally Aussie. He's like, hey, you going, buddy? Yeah, hey, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna talk really fast, but like, if you need me to help you, I can help you. Like,
So Rock is like Jason Momoa, right? In everybody's head was just mine.
No, not at all. He's Maui from Moana.
Moana, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So The Rock.
Yeah, he's The Rock. But he's he's literally the animated guy.
He's a cartoon and everyone else is a real person.
No, I think of things so strangely. I will take just a 2D non-moving glimpse, and that kind of aids me when I'm talking. I don't see him kind of walking or anything. I'm like, all right, who's speaking? Cool. And like, it will be out of context. It will be the most random things that I glimpse, which I encapsulate as a person. Who visualizes like the entire thing happening? I see it like a graphic novel. Like I'm turning a page and it's like, yeah, and that's it. He's a giant redhead. No, not in this brain, he's not. I don't know, he keeps talking about it because he shaves. And he's like, oh, one day you'll have hair like this. And I'm like, yeah, next. How do people visualize when they're reading a book?
I'm there. I'm feeling the rain. I feel the depth. I'm in 3D world.
Oh, that must be nice. No,
I'm usually the same way, but there's like some times where there's things I have trouble visualizing. So like even though we're 3/4 of the way through, I still don't understand how they're getting the bridge across the chasm.
I don't either. I cannot see it. What are they doing? Is it above their head?
Do they just like throw it? Is that what's happening? Because I'm like, well, how are they getting it across? Because there's a chasm.
Wouldn't it be up and then they have to drop it? I just was like, you know what? That's physics. I don't need it. I don't need science.
But are they dropping it on the same side? Anyways, whatever the bridge.
Oh, we're getting a visual. We just got a visual representation from Darian. Check this out. There's the bridge. Drop. Does that make sense? I'll show you what he's doing because it's quite brilliant. Here's my
I think they're lifting it upwards, and then they're planting it, and it's falling down across the chasm. Yeah, exactly like Darian's saying.
Yeah.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Or is it over? Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
why didn't our engineer come up with that, Tim?
Oh, because he didn't RFAO.
Tim is not paying attention.
I'm busy actually engineering stuff.
Wow, we've got quite a few Aphantasias in the house here, huh? What do you pick? The words on a page and that's it? That's it?
Oh.
The words on a page and that's it?
Like for me,
what does Kaladin look like, Lisa? She doesn't know. She's like, Mom. What are you saying, baby?
No idea.
Either.
That's why I like when people have fan art, because then I can like look at that while I'm reading and kind of. But I really don't see anything.
Agreed.
All right, let's fill up this show chat with some fan art. Yeah. Kakahu is showing me my rock. Yeah, that's what he looks. That's exactly what he looks like to me. That's my rock. That's my boy. Does not look like him at all. In fact, I think it was Carlos was saying earlier, he's the rock if Tormund Giant Bane had a baby who was a great cook. I glanced that really fast, and I thought it was like who has a great cook, and I was like, how would you know that, Carlos? Why would you write that? It was cook. It was cook. I'm forever grateful. But I'm like, you know what? Rock is probably packing. Cool. Anyway,
I mean, isn't that what Tormund's Giantsbane was known for with giants? Like, he wasn't a Giantsbane because he was killing giants, according to Tormund.
No, he was.
He was raised by a giant.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Good-o. Hey, what were we talking about? Oh, we're going to put in fan art of Kaladin. I mean, don't you remember, Kate, where I was like, I pictured Kaladin like Henry Cavill because he said in an interview or I read somewhere that he wanted to play it. And you're like, he's Asian. And I'm like, yep. Whoops. Missed that. I grasped from pop culture and that sticks. That's how that goes. So I would love some fan art of...
Maybe don't Google fan art if you haven't read everything yet. All
right, I am tasking it to people who have read it. If you can get some spoiler-free fan art of our main men.
The way I kind of picture, because I have a hard time, I don't have full Aphantasia, but I picture it more like you know when you're like looking at something through like frosted glass.
Yes.
So it's kind of like I picture that, and then eventually things can kind of coalesce. But it's more me thinking of it like afterwards when things coalesce.
I have had that same thing. Sometimes I say that I picture it like a water painting. So it's a little bit more diluted, I suppose. Volcani CPM, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We're talking about part 3 of The Way of Kings Only. Part 3. Aslan, the Jazzman, did you accidentally unfollow, or are you just never following this entire time and you decided to do it 4 minutes ago? I think the math ain't mathin' on that one. What happened? I demand an explanation. It felt personal. It's okay if you accidentally unfollowed and then followed again, and I just happened to address it because I saw it. But like, if you were just like showing up every week, there you go. I think I accidentally unfollowed. Yeah, I love you always. In the panic sheen of sweat coming from Aslan. No. I thought that as much. Well, lovely to have you back again. Red Wolf says, full Aphantasia here. Blank screen until I see some fan art or folios in a leather bound or something. It might as well be The Nothing from Neverending Story. Wild. That's cool. So, you know, you've seen the Aphantasia diagram of like how you picture it, and it's an apple and it's like a black sort of box. And then it's like an outline of an apple, and then it's like a red 2D apple, and then it's like this 3D kind of crisp apple. Academic, you've got the red apple. If I want to picture it, I can tell you that there's like precipitation, like slowly trickling down an apple, you know, which has some splotches of green in it because it's a red delicious. Like I can do that, but as I'm reading, I am not mapping out the fine details of this. I'm getting bleh, next, bleh, like that kind of thing. What's really interesting was when I did because I listened to these books, when I do the summary reread, I can tell you exactly where I was when I heard that moment. So I was reading back, I was like, I was hiking during this chapter, and I remember where I was on my hike when this moment kind of like attached. So I attached writings to locations.
I do that with games. I play games and listen to books, so I'll remember a game that I was playing when I re-listen to a part later.
Can I
I do the
ask,
same thing.
honestly, how much of the book can you retain when you are playing video games?
I usually don't listen to something that I haven't. In fact, I never listen to something that I haven't read before.
Right.
So I don't need to keep as much contact keep as much of it because I still know the gist of where I am.
The first time I read this book, I was playing Breath of the Wild. I was in the lightning territory and I was looking for durian fruit. I just moved out to California. I remember which apartment I was in. Yeah, oh yeah, that was. I remember this. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I have to do like a very cozy brain switch off game so I can concentrate because I've tried it before. So like app games and little things like that, totally fine. But if it's like a game that requires any thought, book, see you later. Aslan says, my brain gives me anime/animated drawings of books, never live action. I'm a bit the same, a 2D, a rough imaging. There's like some video games where the playable characters take priority for some reason, where like I will always, if the description aligns enough, I'm like, cool, you're this character. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, Vaden, and it's usually like one of about 5. It's one of the rangers from the Rampart. It's the guy from the castle who's got that little flavor saver. It's wild. And like it's pixelated in my brain as well because like it was such an old game that it's like tiny little square of pixelated art. I'm like, yeah, that works. Red Wolf says, oh, you go.
Oh, just it's like what everyone was saying about games. Like, I play a lot of games while I'm listening to books, and like I can retain most of it. Like it's a little harder than it is just walking and listening to it, but like I would say it's pretty good for the most part. Unless the game itself is very intense, like I can usually play it just fine. And like even normal video games and even some of these puzzle games, it's just
Yeah, it really depends on the game. If it's a game where I need to be listening, then the audiobook goes off. If I don't need to be paying attention to sounds or things like that, like right now I'm playing V Rising, so I don't really need to pay attention to what I'm listening to. But if I was playing something like, I don't know, Dragon Age, where I need to actually listen to the conversations, no.
Yeah, you can't. Right. That's fair. Christina PZ says, I thought those picture this things were just metaphorical. Red Wolf says, one thing that's been very cool for me is the Midst podcast that Critical Role has been involved in. I was enjoying the audio only, but then they started doing videos with some official artwork, and it's like, oh wow. Lisa says, Lisa said, same. I didn't even know what aphantasia was until like 5-6 years ago. That's when we spoke about it with Rachel on. Yeah, that's when I first learned about it.
She said that, and I was like, what? That's what I have? I didn't know. I honestly, my whole life, I thought when people were saying, picture this or, think about this in your mind, like I didn't know people were actually seeing things. Like I don't see anything. So I was like surprised. I was very surprised.
That was one of the cooler conversations because all 3 of us had very different. So when we were doing Alpha Book Club on Nerdist, this is like from 2016 onwards, we were saying how we would think, and Rachel had aphantasia, and that's when a lot of us learned what that was. And I was like, I always picture something, so I'm like, what? How is it nothing? How is there like a black hole of vision when you'll read it? Like that's wild. And then I found out that Hector is a director in his mind. So anytime there's a scene, it's almost like a 3-walled sort of thing where he's the cameraman with the open space, and it's like, where are people positioned? Where is the protagonist? Like, how does the action look if it's supposed to be for a screen? Which I was like, wow, what a pointless thing. No, I'm kidding. But like, how does that help your story at all? Like, you could great to bring books to life. Like, I think he would be an amazing director. Actually, fuck Hector. I think he would be so good at everything. I think he would be an amazing voice actor. I think he would be an incredible director. I think dude's good at everything, right? If you don't know him, Hector Navarro. Hector is funny online. Look him up. The guy is fantastic, and I will not stop raving about him. He is so cool. He is also one of the biggest comic book nerds I've ever met. So if you're into comics, here's your guy. And I would have these sort of splotches, and I would take from pop culture, and really subconsciously I would attach faces to characters, even if it wasn't even close to who it was. It was like, this in my subconscious embodies it enough, blah, and it would splat. Red Wolf says, my therapist was like, oh, sure, I can not only see an apple, but I can kind of feel it in my hand. I know what it tastes like. And I was like, what, the actual? If I am not reading a page every minute, I can do that. I can sit there and I can actually spend the time and build it out. But in terms of, because I think, Kate, you're like this as well, because we're reading so fast, we don't have time to latch on and build things. It is just simply boom, boom, whatever you can get. Vanessa the Porg says, Hector is so funny. I still giggle at his Southern lawyer bit from the break room. He's amazing. Improv, dude can do it. I had him on my Dungeons and Flagons show for 2 series because I thought he was so good. He's just great.
Well, the interesting thing is too that it doesn't affect like the way that people's brains are so different about that. It doesn't affect the way that like we retain the information, because even though I'm not picturing it as like clearly, I can still remember most of the things that I've read.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really kind of like interesting that it's like, it's almost like a computer, how you just are putting like binary data into it, and then the computer isn't picturing an apple, but it's just like, yeah, that's an apple.
Yeah, you're right. I don't
Is.
think that one is superior in any different way. It's how we're processing the information. And sometimes visual aid is very helpful to some people, and others the word is enough. Like being able to see the written word in a string of sentences is enough to retain that information. The way that we talk
that
about
sounds
books,
like a superpower.
yeah, right. Yeah, but I mean, we were talking, like, Mum's a psychologist, and she was trying to learn how I think. And I didn't really know, because she's like, some people think in numbers, some people think and see in colors, like there's different ways that the brain will adopt to see things. And I was like, this sounds strange. And it wasn't until I was 21, and I was memorizing a script, and it was on an A4 page. And there were 2 columns on either side, but the script was in a main big column in the middle. Why is this important? Because I realized when I was memorizing words, I was memorizing the shape of a paragraph. So I would be like, big paragraph, little paragraph, little paragraph. And then when I rehearsed the sentence, I would see how that sentence looked when I said it. And it would be like a visual graph of my inflections. So the day of recording, the producer goes, totally rewrote some things. Here's the script. And the columns were, instead of being wide like that, they were like that. So instead of being a paragraph that looked like that, it was like that. And I freaked out. And I was like, I don't know how to learn this. I'm a big paragraph, little paragraph, little paragraph, bigger. And I was like, oh my God, I see in shapes. And that's how I commit things to memory. It is a visual thing, but I'm visualizing how the sentence sounds. I can see the sentence.
You just unlocked things for me with my daughter right now, because I think she does the same thing. Yeah.
How so?
Whenever we read bedtime books, like she's now started to like reciting the books along with me when I read stuff, and so whenever we get to a new book, she stumbles, and I try and point out the letters to her, and it doesn't seem like she quite wants to make the letter sound. She's like, okay, no, let me look at the whole paragraph. And she's able to remember, like, I know what this phrase is because I know what the shape of that phrase is supposed to look like. And so she'll do that from different pages because they're roughly the same block. So you just completely unlock things. So like, how did you use that to like learn more holistically?
You just unlocked something for me. When I was 4 years old, my mum had read A Nighttime Story so many times that I'd committed it to memory. And so I said, I can read the book. And I knew when to turn the page, and I said the whole thing. And my mum's like, oh my God, she can read. She's reading this book. Like, she's reading this whole book from start to finish. And I was like, sure. Nah, it's all here. It's performative to me. Turn, a lot of people weighing in on this. Sorry that I kind of got really sidetracked yet again. Carlos, I have to mention it, said, oh my God, I love Dungeons and Flagons so much. My favorite compliment to get. Red Wolf says that my brain is like a computer with no GPU hooked up. The data is there. I know what an apple is. I know what it looks like. I just can't see it. Cheyenne says only real nerds could describe it that way. Catch22 says I think my brain's just fucked because I do all of these things. All right. Interchangeable. That's cool. What do you mean you don't know, Kate? You want to know? Oh, Aslan says, hey, speaking of seeing
we were
things
talking about the glyph heads that Shalon drew.
I love that everyone's got a name for it. Symbol heads, glyph heads. Someone else in a Reddit said that they were crystal heads. Okay, so
yeah,
here's
we were
mine.
just talking about the aphantasia, but I instantly pictured those things in my head, but it was picturing them as a drawing. I pictured the drawing of them.
That's still a 2D sort of thing, which is where I excel at the most. Mine, wild. In Inside Out 2, Riley starts developing core belief. And I think it's in a trailer where her core belief looks like a helium kind of shape. That's the head. That's the glyph head. I took it from Inside Out 2 because I just watched it recently. So I did plucked it, put it in a cloak, called it a day.
Have you all seen the animations of what like a tesseract looks like in a 2D image, and it looks like this it's like this square within a square, but it's constantly rotating in and out.
Yeah.
Have you seen those animations? So I kind of imagine that's what those glyph heads were doing. Like they're like basically these 3D shapes, but they're constantly animated to fold in and out of itself. Sort of like how have you seen the movie Annihilation when Natalie Portman reaches that weird thing that turns into her? It's sort of like a similar animation that plays, but with just various triangle shapes melded together.
Find an image. I'd like to see it in show chat. I want to see what your brain does.
Of the Annihilation, yeah, me.
Or even like the square inversing.
Yeah, let me get that for you.
Tesseract, 2D Tesseract. Colleen says I heard an author with aphantasia explain how she could only describe things. Yeah, that makes sense. Kate says, funnily enough, I pictured the glyph head guys instantly, but they're a drawing. Bartleby says when there's an error or when something doesn't fit in the page somehow, I'm aware it's not in a different color or moving, but it's totally a different color or moving. Oh, it's wild. Colleen says, sometimes when I look at people, I see lines and shapes as if I was going to draw them. Okay, Shalon. Can you draw a portrait of all of us? Sans the weird shit.
I put it in show chat, the Tesseract animation. I got it from Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like, is the cube inside of that? Is it in front of it? Like, it kind of maneuvers all around in a way. Yeah, I like that as the glyph head. I pictured them very Silent Hill. Oh yeah, I see a bit of that actually. Yep. Toastposter says, Stargirl says, I think of Dementors. That's another great one. Toastposter says, I took a theater class once and I would put my lines in blocks of emotion. I would memorize the emotion and then vomit the words. Wow. That's amazing. You don't suppress emotion, do you? Do you talk about them? Share with us. Academic says, your experiences are so interesting to me when things happen in the book, particularly when it's a focus character moment. I react like I'm the character in the moment. Think Kaladin floundering in the wind, tied to the tent/barrack. My teeth and toes are clenched. My breath is held. I am a spectator. I am the ghost of futures past or whatever that is just watching and can't communicate, but I'm just a spectator and I'm like, ooh.
Chorus in the
They
Greek
can't
play.
hear me, they can't see me. Yeah. What was that, City?
Chorus in a Greek play. They have it's a role in the plays where they'll just like be commenting on the story and what's going on, but the cast they're actually in the play can't see them usually.
Oh, that's what I'm doing right now.
I think it's called chorus.
A chorus is usually
like a music thing, but I think in this context it's a little bit different. Is it chorus I'm thinking of? There's definitely a term for it.
Someone will tell us. Okay, we've got some thoughts about Shallan. Oh, Carlos gifted a sub, and then Vaden gifted Carlos a sub. That's very, very sweet. Oh, you guys are cute. All right, let's talk about Shallan. Kate, over to you. You've got thoughts. You wanted to spend a minute on her? Have a few.
It's just so interesting to me how it's like she's kind of like this typical sheltered, upper class girl,
With a
and
psychopath for a brother. But yeah, go on.
but it's like the first time she goes out, she falls in love with the first lying asshole that comes along. And it's just
he
like
did
it's
pay
so
attention to her.
Yeah, it's just that's the way it always goes. Like those
when
type
you have
of
nothing
people,
to compare it to.
Yeah, it's like when you're so sheltered from life, it's a very innocent kind of way of looking at it, and you expect everyone to be just as like nice and innocent as you when you're super sheltered, even though she is not innocent. But like when you see that in real life all the time,
yes,
you see it's like those kind of super sheltered people, once they are out of that sheltered environment, end up getting into some trouble. But it's just so like the first dude that she came across where she's like, ooh, he's kind of cute. He was poisoning her the whole time.
And hold on really quickly. When she brought it up to Yasna initially was like, he's trying to get to me. This is a ploy. What was your response when Yasna was like that? Because I initially was like, okay, you're a bit jelly. Like,
I didn't think it was jealousness at all. I think it was
don't
the
shit on her
meeting of
sunshine.
No, I think it was the meeting of Shallan's naivety about people and Jasna's cynicism. Because Jasna's a very cynical person.
Yasna was very right though, like unfoundedly
totally
correct.
But I think she could have said it a little differently. But at the same time, like Jasna's so used to being an outsider, and I think it's like she's doing that I'm going to say fuck you before you can tell me to fuck me kind of thing, where
Also,
she's
her
using she's using her
assassinated.
atheism as a weapon in a way, like as an armor, so she kind of keeps people at bay. And
I think that's because her brother, the king, was assassinated. I think she's got a very strong grasp. She's the antithesis of what Shallan's gone through. She's not been sheltered at all.
Yeah, at the same time though, it's a little like she kind of keeps Shallan at arm's length, and I think it's because she probably has a hard time getting close to people because
people are untrustworthy and assassins.
Yes. But
who are trying to kill her and her brother and successfully killed
my point.
Sorry.
So that's why she didn't kind of say it's like he probably doesn't like you, but she could have worded it a little more like, kindly and empathetically. True. As opposed to like, oh, like maybe like you're starting to have feelings for him. I know you just came here. This is kind of the first time away. Like she didn't try and find out anything else. She was immediately just like, oh, it's all about me. Like she didn't try to, teach Shallan about any interpersonal, like those kind of things. It was immediately like her lessons are very harsh. It's like the same thing with when she took her out on the street and killed those the dudes who were bad, but at the same time, it's like that's a crazy harsh lesson for a sheltered girl. And it's like it's the same sort of thing. Yeah. Where it's immediately like not teaching her about some people have ulterior motives, and because he's like an ardent and I'm like a heretic, it's like she just didn't. She was correct, but she didn't do it in such a way that Shallan would like listen to her. She would she didn't teach it. She didn't do it as she didn't do it as a teaching, because she could have taught her about like kind of about the world. It's not just about like she's so caught up in like her readings that she's not kind of looking as like, oh, Shallan doesn't know anything about anything.
I feel like Yasna's had so many people try to apply for this position, so many people try to convert her, so many people. She's had the same thing happening over and over again. She's just kind of like lost patience for these teaching moments. And it was like, Shallan, I said no to you. I said no to you 4 times, and you are barging my door down. Well, guess what, sweetheart? This isn't bells and whistles. This is going to be really, really tough, and I'm not going to be gentle, but you wanted this. So guess what? Life's shit, and she just was serving these life lessons, you're right, in a very harsh way. But I feel like Shallan has seen even though she was sheltered, has gone through a lot in that time. Dad's shady as fuck. They're running illegal operations. Now she's been tasked with the woman to sort of save everyone. And I have a feeling this is not the first time that the rest of the family doesn't want to get their hands dirty and they're happy to shove her into sort of like this life to clean up the problem because that's a woman's job. Even though one of the brothers, I believe, was sick, another one died, or is like considered dead because of his depression, and another one's a goddamn psychopath that likes to harm small animals. We've got 2 hands up. Darren, I'm going to go to you, then Colleen, over to you.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Yasna is basically Dr. House, and she's like a genius, but she has no patience for bullshit, and she's just cut straight
And
to the matter.
House was pretty cunty, not gonna lie. A couple of those seasons were really hard to watch. I wanted to smack him a bit, and you're just like, you don't have to be such an asshole. These people are trying to learn and trying to be better. Like, you're trying to push them away. No, that's a good analogy, though. I like it. Oh, I did say that. I'm so sorry. Hey,
Where you hear from me from now?
Just pretend I didn't say it. Twitch, I'd like to stay partner, please. Colleen, what is your take on Yasna being not a very good mentor? Thank you, academic. I completely. It's not a swear word if you're an Aussie. It's just a regular word. I know you're talking. I can't hear anything though, Colleen. I can't hear you. But you're unmuted. I just don't know why I can't hear you. And you were making a great point because I could see you and you had your finger up. Literally a point. Let's try now. No. Now, do you want to write it out? And I can read that one. Anyone else have any thoughts on Yasna apart from the house analogy? Carlos made a great point saying that's the problem of being brilliant and knowing you are brilliant. Baz, what you got?
I think when I think it was around the portion of before or after she killed the men, there was like one line that hinted that she'd been assaulted previously. And then that sort of informs why, like for her, like those men, like, oh yeah, no, this is just a lesson. I have no regrets about this. And why she doesn't really give much more thought to it. I think the housiness makes her one of the characters I want to see more of from other perspectives. Because right now it's sort of like Shallan's mentor and target. But it would be really interesting. Like, the book shifts perspective so many times. I want to see what she sees or think how she thinks. What it is she's maybe what she's looking for. That's like that should be a slow burn the way it is now. But like how I don't know, like what her family sees her, like how Dalinar sees her or her mother or something like that. I think Yasna is a very interesting character that is very isolated right now, and I think I am, at some level, I'm starting to get annoyed how isolated that story is, because that seems like it could bear a lot of good fruit.
I like that. I've just remembered who I see Yasna as, and I want to make a correction, and someone did correct me in the comments. She's a princess. It was her father who was the king, not brother. And I'm like, why did I think they were around the same age? I was picturing Yasna as quite a bit older because she is more mature. And then I was like, who do I picture her as? What glimpse? I am trying to find her. I think she's in Dragon Age 3. There is, oh my god, I can see her and I don't know what she's from. She's, I think, a video game character. She has a white top that's off shoulder, long hair, scarf, maybe Disney character. Help me out. Her skirts are blue and purple, off the shoulder white, sort of like that peasant top kind of thing. Scarf, long brown hair. What is how I'm looking up all the Dragon Age romanceable characters because I'm pretty sure we shagged, but I don't.
Doesn't sound like a Dragon Age character. Not from 3 anyway.
It wasn't the diploma. I thought it was the diplomat. The one who did
Josephine?
all the diplomatic duties. Yeah, it wasn't her though. What was there was another one like that from Dragon Age 2, I thought. Get out of here, Asterion.
Isabel?
Yeah! I love that you just have it ready to go. What, Isabel Dragon Age?
Yeah.
That's
Isabella,
her.
actually. Yep.
That's her. That's Yasna. I don't know how my brain does this. Or is it Esmeralda? Let me look at Esmeralda. What's that one from? No, it's Esmeralda. Why am I so excited? It's a combo of, there you go, those two. Yasna is Esmeralda. Is it the purple skirts that gave it away? No, that's Esmeralda. There you go. From Hunchback of... I've never even seen Hunchback of Notre Dame. Why?
Oh, okay. Sure. I see. Yeah.
You see her? That's Yasna to me. What a babe,
Rosario
right?
Dawson.
Yeah, I see that. See that. We should, if you're in the show chat, let's do our own fan casting and who you see. Oh, Chris, that is exactly the glyph. That is really good. That is in my head. You're in my head with that one. That's great. But thank you, Christina. Esmeralda. Tay's like, yes, Isabella from Dragon Age 2. Yeah, it was like a combo of those. Love it. All right. Carlos says Chris Pratt is Kaladin, of course. What? Nah. Not even close.
He's like
Christina
tan
says,
and black hair.
We've actually got some
Kaladin.
really cool fan art. Thank you, Academic. Thank you, Lisa, for grabbing those. Christina says, see, and I have aphantasia, but you can describe and I will tell you who it is. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing, you know what? No wrong answers. If you see Chris Pratt and it's helpful for you, fantastic. Oh, we got cat pictures. Look at the eyes. That first picture, what a cutie. Guys, become a Discord member, Patreon member. You can check out the show chat. It's real cool. We have pictures. We have cats. Shallan is Sydney Sweeney. Wonder how that happened for you, Carlos. Is she blonde? Blonde? Remember, Kaladin is like 19. Oh, yeah, he's not. He's 32, 35 in my head.
Shallan's also a redhead.
Shallan's got red hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. So she goes into Brave when I remember that, but no. This is not at all. Oh my God, Carlos is like, I'm joking.
Somewhere?
We've been posting it in the show chat. People's fan art. Oh my gosh, Darian, is that
That's Aladdin. He could be Kaladin.
No, that is exactly, even though I don't think he's got hair. What's his name? Capsule. Capsule.
Capsule.
Capsule. That's how I kind of pictured Capsule. Who kind of knew that Capsule was a piece of work? Did you think it was genuine at all? Academic, you thought it was genuine?
No, it wasn't genuine.
Yeah, I thought it was genuine. And you know what? I am going to hold to my guns. I still think it was genuine on his part. Like even at the end, I think that he kept on like mistaking Shallan's advances. Like I think he thought, oh, maybe I can run away from the life that I'm leading.
I actually do think he would have run away because he didn't want to be an assassin and he didn't want to do this greater tragedy.
But okay, so what is the life he was leading? Because he clearly wasn't an Ardent.
No, I think the Ardents wanted her dead.
Half, right?
No, because like the other like
he was fake.
in the chapter, yeah, there's like they said like they didn't know who he was. Like he's like
I thought the Ardents were behind it because it was personal. Oh no,
like,
wait, he was undercover.
When Yasna was like telling Shallan about what happened after she fainted, she was like, "Yeah, we inquired about Capsule," and like the other Ardents say like they didn't know who this guy was at all. Like they just like saw him in passing, but like
he
they
was
never
playing
interacted
long
with him.
game.
He was installed by someone, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're actually kind of meant to be together then, because they're both little deceptive shits, aren't they?
So, the interludes. Did we? I'm a little ahead. Did you guys listen to the interludes after? There was one about the Spren, where somebody was like investigating Spren and everything, and there was like a guy with like a bald headed guy, and he mentioned he was like cooking something sweet. Was that Capsule?
No,
he was married. That guy was.
Okay, because the description and everything and like making something sugary like made me think that it could be Capsule. So
his name is Asher, but
Capsule could have been a fake name.
I don't think it would be him because he was married to someone else. They seemed to have a good relationship with, and they seemed to be happy.
Yeah.
I think that was just a completely different story, but that just to teach us about the uncertainty principle being a real thing in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the interludes are kind of wonky with time, so it's kind of really hard to tell. So I understand. I understand what you're saying, Darren.
Yeah.
I just had a little spiral. I don't feel like I should tell you all of the pop culture references that I choose, but someone said who Teft, was. Where is it? Teft. I thought I saw it in here for a second. Oh, Teft is Liam Cunningham, who's Davos Seaworth from Game of Thrones. And I was like, who do I see as Teft? And then I was immediately embarrassed because for some reason my subconscious plucked Raiden from the Mortal Kombat movie.
Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. I don't know how or why, but Teft is Raiden.
He is the
Mortal
Highlander.
Kombat movie.
Honestly, I thought you were gonna say.
That's why he knows what's right.
Yeah, honestly though, that's better than I thought what you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say James Marsters because he's all you think about, and then every part would be James Marsters just playing James Marsters.
What a great brain! I would live there.
It's Henry Cavill and James Marsters everywhere.
I mean, Henry Cavill does pop up a lot. Since we had our part 1 check-in though, I absolutely changed it. For those that don't know what Raiden... Oh no, thank you, Kakahu. Yeah, that's a great picture. This is Teft. At least I have the audacity to be embarrassed about that. I don't know. I am telling you, my subconscious is like, pluck. There it is. You went Oscar Isaac for Dalinar, says Academic. Oh, I love that. Love that for you. I can picture him, but I can't. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. Billy Sunrider says for Dalinar, David Bautista. Sanderson actually picked him in his fan cast. Whoa, I did not.
A slimmed down Bautista, I can see it. I don't know if anyone's seen recent pictures of David Bautista, but it actually kind of.
We interviewed him a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
For Dune, right?
Yep. He's so nice. So nice. I have to figure out who Dalinar is. I think he was in a fantasy kind of movie because I can see his armor, even though it's not what it is in the book. He is wearing mostly red, and it's like that fabric padding kind of armor. But he's got a short beard, short hair, a longer beard, short hair. Can't tell you. Oh, thank you, Seb. I imagine Dalinar as this massive figure, muscles and all. Josh Brolin, if he was taller.
James Brolin type.
Like a what?
Like a James Brolin type.
Josh Brolin.
Oh, Josh Brolin. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, Gurney Halleck, interchangeable with Dalinar in a way, I suppose. Yeah, no, Josh is too fun and sassy.
But he could play straight.
He could. It's just not his best.
True.
Shallan has she's been going through some existential shit for sure. I mean, I'm there to steal. Oh, actually, I like being an intern. I like being a mentee here. I actually kind of like this life. Oh my god, this Arden's like totes into me. I think I want to stay. Oh, my time is running out. I'm going to set a date. I'm going to build her trust. Holy shit, she just took out 4 men. She just killed, and it was a lesson. You know what? That was shit. She's decided to take someone's life into her own hands. I don't feel so bad stealing the coursework. What the hell is it called? I don't feel so bad stealing the Soulcaster. In fact, I'm going to swap it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to swap it right now. Oh, I did it. She didn't notice. Great. It's been a couple of weeks. You know what? If she finds out and I'm gone, sus. If she finds out and I'm here and I have no idea and there's no way to blame it on me, okay, that's what I'll do. I just want to stay a little bit longer. Capsule's kind of cute. Anyway, whatever. She gets poisoned. She's dying. Yasna needs the Soulcaster to cleanse the poison from her blood. Shallan is like, oh, I fucked up. She's going to try and use the Soulcaster and it's broken. And she's going to realize it's broken. And I can't tell her that where it really is because I'll be dead. So this whole long-term plan that she's almost meticulously planned, it all comes crashing to a head because she took too long. And she has to expose herself as a thief, as the bad person, I suppose, so that Yasna can save her life, which she does. Yasna saves her life. She wakes up in hospital. She's like, oh no, they know, don't they? Yes, they definitely know. Days are numbered. Yasna's like, why didn't you tell me? And that was a question earlier. Why did Shallan just not tell Yasna? Why does everyone think that is? Why does Shallan think that discretion, that Yasna's not going to understand? I don't think I understood the severity of a Soulcaster and what it can do. I feel like, you know, in the outskirts of this town, someone's making medals, whatever, and they're making money from it. But it sounds like there's so few Soulcasters and they actually feed armies, and that if should anything happen to a Soulcaster, like, you are #1 top most wanted list and it is game over. We got 2 hands up. I'm going to go you, Baz, and then you, Academic. Remember your thought.
My understanding was that there's like Soulcasters and Fabrials, and then Soulcasters are the actual like thing from like ancient history that has like survived until now. So they're a very precious resource. And that's why the Soulcaster is really important. And then that's why the gemstones are really important. So they can just simply, like, a broken Soulcaster's a dud, but if you just replace the gemstones, which they're getting from the Shattered Plains. And to, I guess, answer the first question was like, why wouldn't Shallan just tell her?
Yeah.
I always just thought of it as like Shallan is just her ward, and this is like really not Yasna's problem. Like, it is also like maybe a deficiency of this plot line. It's like I don't really know how close Yasna feels to Shallan. Like whether or not it's like a really professional thing or if it's actually quite personal. So it was sort of like Shallan was like, it's not like she could just ask, you know, the princess of Alethkar for like, hey, can you help me out, please, thanks.
Yeah.
At the other end of it, I was just sort of like, this is kind of comedic where the only option she has is to steal from the princess of Alethkar in a different kingdom. I was like, it has to have been some other solution, right? That they thought of. I mean, I was just like, well, it's okay. The plot requires it. Indira Varma as Yasna. Sorry, I'm reading show chat. Never mind.
Academic.
One to the, I'll address what you just said, Basil, and then I'll go back to the other thing. So I do think that this is probably one of their best avenues because this is a Soulcaster from an apostate person, so who's already out of favor with the Ardentia and the religion of Vorinism. So this is like a target that people might not feel as, particularly the church, might not feel as worried about going after. Whereas if it were one of their Soulcasters, because they control the Soulcasters in general, then they would, you know, the whole Vorinism faith would fall down on them, and they're like staunch Vorinists. So I think that this is probably the best course of action, at least from what we can tell. And then I think that what was the second part of that? So it was, what was Shallan doing? And then, Soulcasters. I think Soulcasters, the way that I keep everything in my mind is I power rank them on the same level as Shard Blades and Shard Plate. Just like they're also powered by the gems and whatnot, they're a really scarce, extremely powerful resource.
Thank you. I'm still learning the difference between the Fabrial and the Soulcaster. Thank you for helping me out with that, because I was like, what are you adding in now? I thought I knew everything already. Christina, thank you for using your Prime to sub. Appreciate it. Okay, and yet Kate makes a great point. She's a teenager. She doesn't know better. She has no idea. Bartleby says, my family's basically making Amazon basic knockoff goods and can't anymore. Could you just stop your research and help me? Okay, thanks. Yeah, when put like that, it makes absolute sense. Colleen then said it's kind of like not telling Yasna about the glyph heads. I actually thought that they'd gone through enough to kind of broach a conversation, because they've been having hypothetical conversations. They've been doing research. Hi, I stumbled upon this thing. I can't remember what book it's in. But have you seen something like this before? Like, what do you think? What do you think this is about? Because yeah, it looked wild. Bobo Bot, thank you so much for following and using your Prime to sub. I appreciate it. You have thoughts on that, Academic? You were saying that you think that she should have shared that at that stage as well.
I do, but didn't she first see the glyph heads? Like, sure, she drew them, but like she thought at those times that her mind was just wandering. But the first time like she saw the glyph heads was also when she had her quote unquote psychotic break, right? So like I'm wondering if that was not the time to like really have that broach that conversation, especially since she had a real good excuse to finally leave, right? So,
dude, chapter 45, when she's like, you could see the horror. The way that Sanderson wrote this was amazing. It really took it up a notch, where she's drawing it and she's like, ha, that's wild. Sorry, I made a mistake. Just ignore this. I'm gonna go. And then she's like, oh my God. And so she moves into another room and is drawing, and they still show up. And it's like this entity that's not physically in the room, but whatever she's channeling, she's able to see them through drawing. That was so great. I absolutely loved that moment. I loved that writing. And then she went through a whole cosmic episode where like she got transported into a world where everything's made of beads all of a sudden, and she doesn't have a grasp on that at all. Like, and then she technically soul casted. She soul casted. She turned water into blood and then had to kind of like devise a plan to be like, oh, my bad. She's about to walk in. I can't explain this. So yeah, she took actions into her own hands, quite literally. She took action on her hands too. Sorry for that one, but thank you, City. How do you delicately talk about this? I apologize, everyone. Yasna's almost 40. Oh, cool. I did picture a little older. Toast Post said, I was scared of the glyph heads at first, but the thought of a pantomime, like, they're behind you. Oh, she's 34, 35. Okay. Yeah, would we say that that's old? That's not that old.
Not old at all. Nope, young.
No.
Really young. Really young.
Not yet, not old.
Not old at all. Will says, yeah, I like
Younger
the part with the
than
creatures.
me.
Yeah, it's very young. You barely even lived if you're 35. What is it, 35? I wouldn't know, but I'm assuming. It just doesn't seem like it's that old. Will says, yeah, I like the part with the creatures in the drawing. I'm not sure if we covered this yet, but I think part 3 was my least favorite so far. Will, tell me why. And everyone else, how would you rate part 3? Is it getting better every single part? Did this one take a hit a little bit more? Is Will obsessed with Dalinar, and the lack of Dalinar just hurt the part too much? Academics nodding along to that. Some random mix guy says, hi Maude, cool to see you in here. First introduced you back when you were on SourceFed. Now I love the book Rex. Yay! Lovely to have you here. We're talking about The Way of Kings. We are in part 3. And then next week we're going to finish the book. And we are going to have our collective minds blown, apparently. Vanessa says, part 3 has been my favorite so far. Ben says, 4.5 out of 5 for me. Part 3 has been my favorite as well. I got to get the book due next week. Yikes. Ooh, I got to get the book done next week. You sure do, Suze. Sure do. Colleen says, I think the book keeps getting better. Will says, I like part 2, part 3 seem to drag on a bit for me. I'm not sure why. Look, sometimes it's hard living in Kaladin's shoes. It can be, he's going through some stuff. Yeah. He's going through some stuff, and, kind of getting his perspective of like, what is the point of all of this? If this is how it's going to end. There were glimmers of hope. I love the training montage. I don't know if you guys could all see that on the shattered plains, just having a little bit of a pow-pow. Pianki says the book keeps getting better and better. Baz says, I'm hoping we don't get any more of them. Any more of what?
Kaladin's flashbacks. I think the reason why part 3 dragged was that. I was trying to respond to someone earlier, but I called them throwbacks, not flashbacks. My bad. But yeah, I was sort of I'm like I my fingers. The reason why earlier I said, I don't think we need to revisit Tien's death is also partially I'm sick and tired of the flashbacks. Like, let's just everyone let's like Stranger Things episode 7 do the thing where everyone comes together, please.
True. All right. Tay says part 3 has pushed my rating from a 2.5 to a 3.5. Carlos says the Band-Aid is going to rip and you guys are going to beg for some time to breathe. Susie's saying, is it next Friday or is it next Thursday? It's next Thursday. Unless I get another red carpet job, it is next Thursday. Academic says, get ready for your Sanderlanche. Oh, I'm excited. I read
so this
early.
Thursday coming up or the Thursday after that?
Yeah. One moment, please. It should be the 20th.
It's this Thursday coming up.
Okay.
The 20th.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Read it.
Guys,
That's fine. Holy wow.
6 days.
If you're on Maude's book club, we've got 6 days to finish this book, which is like 300 pages, which is a whole book in itself almost, this last part. You. We also, if you haven't started Under the Whispering Door, which, how much was that? This is blurry. Use your words. That's still not. No, it's not. It's not working.
That's 4 hours left in the book.
What?
4 hours left.
4 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to it at 1.8.
This is a 1.5.
I believe in you. Michael Kramer talks pretty slow. What have you been listening, Lise?
I listen at 1.7.
I was going to say, as a general rule, just don't do more than what Lisa's doing. Like, she's like the cutoff threshold usually. So anything under what Lisa's doing, you should be in a safe zone. But anything over what...
I'm at 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could do 2. It gets a little too much after that.
Aiden, what do you listen at? Colleen, what do you listen at?
Usually 1.5.
Geez, 2 is the only way I can listen to an audiobook.
1 is the only way I can listen to an audiobook. I have a big thing with cadence, and when you start messing with that because you're speeding up the narration, it absolutely screws with me.
What cadence do you like? Slurred speech?
No.
Well,
no,
I also just don't like bad narrators, which is why I stopped listening to Way of Kings. But
wow,
they read it in a
I'm
particular
not going to
way.
stop you there. You keep saying stuff like that. I will not disagree with you.
Cash Me Outside. I don't know, City. I don't know. Cash Me Outside. That was crazy.
Hold on. Hasn't she got a kid now? Didn't that... What is that saying? What is that saying in this day and age? You millennial. Robin, your max is 1.2? Oh, nah.
Yeah, I'm the same as City.
I started at 1.2. I could never do one. Started at 1.2, then went to 1.5. Now I'm like a sneaky 1.65, 1.75. What?
I agree with City the first time I listened to a book, but the second plus, it's whatever. So it's all no holds barred. Just go as fast as I need to.
See, I also see that as being wrong because you even on the second time through, like you're listening to it, kind of just like to burn time. Like you don't want to speed through it unless you need to speed through it for a reason. Like the whole point of it is to draw it out.
No, I'm not listening to it to burn time. I'm listening to it to actually like I feel like I'm more not just to get it done.
Why are you trying to get it done? It's like you're.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Because I get to the next part.
I'm getting 80
to
books.
Move on to the next reread.
80 books this year. I'm on 47.
Not to get to the next reread.
What am I, scenic route? I'm like, oh, look at the trees. Oh, look at this slow pace. Oh, I can read a book. This is a 48-hour book or some shit. That is 2 full days at 1.0.
Yeah.
The whole damn book has been scenic route.
So the first
That's enough from
listening to
you.
is to get the whole environmental. Like I'm able to tell you exactly where I was the first time I listened to the book, and so like all of that is because I listened to it at 1.0. But then everything after that is literally just an information dump. Like I'm trying to like focus on the words that are being said. I'm actually like I have an index going in my mind of everything that's happening, and it's just the words. I'm not necessarily building an environment all the time when I'm listening to it at that fast.
Also, I just want to say, City is actually just flexing that he doesn't have ADHD. So it must be nice, City. Must be nice to be able to listen to it. How is that? Because if I'm listening to it, Colleen just absolutely nailed it. If I'm listening to it too slow, my mind will wander. If it's a regular speed, because it's like ADHD is that kind of thing where it's like
that's exactly it. I cannot just sit there and listen to a book. I need to be doing something like riding a bike, which I've been doing more recently, or playing a game or something. I cannot just sit there and listen.
Yeah, so I follow along with the actual book. Like I'm reading the book while listening to the book.
Okay, I can listen at double speed then. If I'm reading it as well, I can listen at 2 times.
Yeah, if I was reading my pace and trying to listen at 1.0, I would be lapping myself. Like I cannot read that slow physically. So like I can't listen to it that slow because if I was reading along in a book, I'd even at like 1.5, 1.7, sometimes I'm faster than that.
I am.
So for me, like my brain cannot go
two times is too slow for what I would read at speed. Yeah. But City, I'm exactly the same. I walk my dog, I'm doing things, I'm listening to a book. But Colleen is completely right. If they are talking like this, I'm like, all right, cool. I know how the end of the sentence is going to go, so my brain's going to think about something else. And then that's going to take over for too long that I've already missed it, so I have to repeat it. When it's fast enough that I can't detach or think about something else, it's forcing me to focus and stay on target, you know? I could talk about this forever. We're over time. Finish the damn book. Under the Whispering Door. We're going to be doing that on the 27th of June. And I believe on the 28th, I'm interviewing TJ Clune. God, I hope the internet's good. That is a bad day when it's not great. But 1 hour, if you haven't read House on the Cerulean Sea, you're sleeping on a top tier book, except if you're Tim. I love House on the Cerulean Sea. A sequel is coming out, I believe, in September. Very excited for that. I believe we're going to be covering it for book club because the first one was so damn good. So get to reading.
Y'all see that bus Maude just threw me under?
I wasn't. I was driving the bus, Tim. I was driving the bus. I ran over you with it. There was no throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Like an insurance claim has been made because there were witnesses. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm suing.
But thank you, everyone. Shan says I'm about 5 pages away from finishing Under the Whispering Door. Carla says I'm going to be here next week. I'm excited to hear y'all's opinions. Bartleby says I can't believe I'll miss the revelation that Kaladin is a werepanther. You troll. You absolute troll. I was like, I know it's going to be facetious, and I'm projecting because I read the final Harry Potter book in one sitting, and so when I would see people read it 9 months later, I'd walk past and be like, oh, when Ron dies. And they were like, what? Ron doesn't, but like still an asshole thing to do, and it's on them because they should have read it faster. Sorry if you really were a fan. That's so horrible of me. Don't worry, this was a long time ago when I was a worse person. I'd like to think I'm a little better now, even though I did a video today and I literally called myself evil. I was like, I am evil. Kate, say nothing.
I was about to say something too.
I know. I set you up for it as well. Okay, enjoy everyone. Join the Discord. We're all hanging out in there. It's a lot of fun. I'm supposed to be gaming. I'm going to think about it, so I'll put you on a brief hold. I'll be back.